Hey, welcome back to In the Kitchen with Jen, and today we're making the perfect tenderloin roast. And I think that it's great for dinner parties or anything where you have a bunch of people and you need something that's really easy to feed them. All right, so what we have here is a 3-pound beef tenderloin, and I've gone ahead and I've already removed most of the fat and all of the silver skin. Alright, so right now we're going to take some canola oil, and we're going to go ahead and baste the outside of our tenderloin. So the reason we want to use canola oil is because when olive oil is at a really high temperature, it starts to get really smoky, and it's going to have more of a burnt flavor. So very generously salt and pepper the outside of your tender roast. Now that our tenderloin is all canola oiled up and has salt and pepper on it, we're going to go ahead and put it in our roasting pan. Now normally I'd have my actual legit roasting pan with a rack on it so it's off the pan itself, but I couldn't find it, so I don't know where that is. If anybody has seen it, please return it back to me. I really miss it. So instead I have this kind of roasting imposter, but it's going to do for the job. So we're going to take our roast, go ahead and place it in here. Since I really like blue cheese, I'm going to do a blue cheese crust, and I'm going to add that later. So I'm going to take it out about 10 minutes of the way in, and I'm going to spread this blue cheese compound butter on it and let it crust up. Alright, so now while our roast is in the oven, we're going to go ahead and make step 2 of this deliciousness, which is our compound butter. So I've got some fresh rosemary from my little herb garden. Just going to give this a nice little chop because we don't want these huge sprigs. And in our happy cup we have 3 tablespoons of which is room temperature unsalted butter. I'll just add our rosemary in here. Up. It's going to go great with our blue cheese. Alright, so now we have that, we're going to do about 3 tablespoons of blue cheese also. And you can guess on this. Blue cheese is one of my favorite stinky cheeses. It's awesome. Of course, we want to add pepper and salt. Now the cheese itself is naturally very salty, but I still just want to add a little bit of salt. And we just kind of want to mash it together. And again, once our tenderloin has been in there for about 10 minutes, we're going to take it out, let it rest just a little bit, and then smear this on the outside, and then put it back in so it makes this wonderful, lovely blue cheese crust. So once your mixture starts to look like this, okay, everything's pretty much evenly incorporated, we're just going to let this sit a little bit. And before you put it on, give it another good stir. Get everything kind of smooth. We don't want it too smooth though. We don't want to break up all of that blue cheese. And of course, give it a taste. That's so good. So our roast has been in for 10 minutes. As you can tell, nowhere near being done. But it's time for that blue cheese crust. We're going to take our mixture, just go ahead, kind of drop it on, and we're going to smear it out in a second. I like to think of this like rubbing it in with sunscreen or something when it's getting a really nice tan at the beach. Now, back in the oven for another 10 minutes. So now that our roast has been in the oven at 420 degrees for 20 minutes altogether, and remember we removed it at 10 minutes and put that lovely blue cheese crust on. So now it's time, big reveal, take it out of the oven. Nice blue cheese crust. It's gotten kind of golden brown around the edges. So now what we want to do is let it rest, cover it with tin foil, let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes before you start slicing. And then we've had this resting for about 15 minutes or so, we're gonna go ahead and start making these lovely slices. And look at that. Perfect medium rare. It's perfectly cooked. It's extremely tender. And that blue cheese crust sends it over the top. So, thank you for joining me in my kitchen. I hope to see you guys soon. And you gotta try this recipe. It's awesome.